So today I'm going to be going over the D major scale, and to go over it, I'm going to be going over what the major scale formula is, and then I will be going over the notes in the D major scale, and then I will be going over the sharps next to the treble clef for the D major scale, so how you can figure out which scale is the D major scale, how to play it on the piano at different speeds so you can follow along, and how to sing solfege with the D major scale, and then I will give you something to do for practice.
So to start, the major scale formula is pretty simple. It is whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step. So to go over it in a little more detail, basically you start with the major scale you want to find. So in this case, D major scale, we're going to start at D. So to construct the D major scale, you are going to follow this pattern, and this will give you each note of the D major scale. So following along with the major scale formula, as you can see, we go from D to E, which is a whole step. Then we go another whole step, which is E to F sharp. E to F would be a half step. Now from F sharp, we must take a half step, which gives us G. Now the next three notes in the D major scale are whole notes. G to A is a whole note. A to B is a whole note. And B to C sharp is a whole note. B to C would be only a half, not a whole note, whole step, sorry. But B to C would only be a half step. Then we do C sharp to D, which is a half step, and gets us back to where we were beginning. So if we look at this treble clef, you see these two sharps? These two sharps are indicative of the sharps in the D major scale. So you have C sharp here and F sharp here. And that's how you can identify the D major scale.
So now we are going to play the D major scale. We are going to play it slow, then we're going to play a little faster. And we're not going to go too fast because honestly, going faster can just happen on your own. So we are going to start with going over the notes. Just in case you don't know which keystrokes are which on the piano, let's go over that really quickly. This is C, D, E, F, G, A, B. And this is C again. So now that we got the basics, we're going to start. The notes of the D major scale are D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, and D. So we start and end on the same place, just an octave higher. Now if we do it a little bit faster, and that's as fast as you really need to go, but you can go even faster if you want to. Now we're going to take a quick moment to go over the solfege, and while we do this, we can practice the D major scale. So this is, let's just go over it really quickly. Now, if we want to go over solfege, this is do. Always start on do, and you're going to end on do. Do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, do. Going over it again. Do, re, mi, fa, so. So and do are usually the ones to look out for. So, la, ti, and do. And this is the solfege for the D major scale. Yay, you made it to recap time. So today we went over the major scale formula, and in specifics we went over how it applies to the D major scale. So when going over the major scale formula, we went over that it is whole step, half step, whole step, half step, in which you start on the note of the major scale you were trying to form. So in this case, you start with D. Then we went over the specific notes of the D major scale as shown on the image on the right, and we showed how you use the major scale formula to construct that. Then we went over how you can identify the D major scale using key signatures. So the two sharps next to the treble clef indicate that you are in D major because the D major scale has two sharps, and those two sharps are F sharp and C sharp. And the key signature has 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp. Then we went over how to play the major scale on the piano at varying speeds, so you could go as slow or as fast as you want. And then we went over the solfege, because if you are singing or sight reading something in D major scale, you need to know the solfege. And so now it is time to practice. And for practice, it's quite simple. Basically, you want to go over the D major scale. And you can do that with the piano, or you could do it just with solfege. So with the D major scale, you can rewatch the playing portion of the video to play along at varying speeds, and you pick the speed that suits your fancy. Or you could practice all on your own using the image on the right. Or you could sing using the solfege that we went over in the video, doing some sight reading exercises. That's all. Yay!